In the deep silence of the ancient night, while oil lamps flickered gently in the waters of the Nile Delta rested in near stillness, the city of Heracleion breathed quietly, unaware that it was living through its final hours. There were no screams, no sudden explosions, no signs of panic that history would later record. Instead, there was only the calm rhythm of sleep, the soft lapping of water against stone docks, and the faint whisper of wind moving through columns dedicated to forgotten gods. Heracleion did not fall in fire or war. It slipped away slowly, gently, almost politely, as if the earth itself had decided to reclaim what humans had borrowed for too long. For centuries, Heracleion, also known as Thonis by the Egyptians, had been one of the most important port cities in the ancient Mediterranean world, located near the mouth of the Nile. It served as the primary gateway between Egypt and the Greek world. Every ship that wished to trade with Egypt passed through its harbors. Merchants from distant lands stepped onto its stone quays, carrying olive oil, wine, pottery, gold, stories, and languages that blended into a soft hum of multicultural life. Temples rose beside canals. Statues watched silently over markets. Priests moved through sacred courtyards at dawn, while sailors drank and laughed beneath the stars at night. But on this night, the city was unusually quiet. Homes built of stone and wood rested beside narrow canals. Inside them, families slept. Children dreamed. Elders breathed slowly beneath linen sheets. Outside, torches burned low, their flames steady in the absence of wind. The gods' statues stood unmoving, massive and eternal, or so they seemed. No one sensed that the ground beneath their feet had already begun to loosen its grip. Heracleion was built on unstable land, a mixture of clay, silt, and sand deposited by centuries of Nile flooding. For generations, the city survived through balance between water and earth, weight and support, faith and engineering. But balance is fragile, especially when time grows heavy. Sometime during the night, perhaps triggered by distant seismic activity or the slow saturation of the soil, the land beneath Heracleion began to liquefy. This phenomenon, invisible and silent, transforms solid ground into something closer to thick liquid. Stone foundations lost their support, columns shifted by fractions of an inch, walls cracked softly, like bones stretching in sleep. No bells rang, no alarms were raised. Canals overflowed first. Water slipped into streets where it had never been before, gliding across stone floors and creeping toward doorways. Boats tugged gently at their moorings as the docks beneath them sank lower. Temples, once symbols of divine permanence, stilted almost imperceptibly, their massive statues leaning as if bowing to the inevitable. Inside the great temple of Ammon, priestly offerings remained untouched. Incense still lingered in the air, the god's image, carved in stone and gold, watched silently as the floor beneath it fractured. Somewhere in the darkness, stone met water with a muted sound, quickly swallowed by the night. People slept through it. Those who stirred may have thought the movement was a dream, a passing sensation, a moment of dizziness. After all, cities do not vanish in a single breath. They fade, they sink inch by inch, heartbeat by heartbeat. By the time fear could have taken shape, the city was already surrendering to the water. By dawn, parts of Heracleion were gone. Buildings lay tilted beneath shallow waves. Streets had become canals. Ships floated where markets once stood. Survivors, confused and silent, gathered what they could and fled inland. There was no dramatic final stand, no last great speech, only abandonment, only absence. Over time, the sea completed what the earth had begun. Storms eroded the remains, sediment buried statues, water sealed the city in darkness. Heracleion disappeared not only from maps, but from memory. Legends spoke of a great city swallowed by the sea. But legends fade when proof sleeps beneath the waves for more than 1,000 years. Heracleion rested in complete silence. Fish swam through temple halls. Sank covered inscriptions. Colossal statues lay face down on the seabed, their eyes filled with darkness. The city became a dream beneath the Mediterranean, preserved not by intention, but by neglect. Then, in the early 21st century, something extraordinary happened. Marine archaeologists, guided by ancient texts and modern technology, discovered traces of structures beneath the waters of a Baker Bay. As they explored deeper, they found statues massive, perfectly preserved, temples, inscriptions bearing the name Thonis Heracleion. The lost city had been found. Divers moved slowly through streets frozen in time. They passed doorways, altars, anchors, coins, and ceremonial boats. Everything was exactly where it had fallen, as if the city had paused mid-breath. The water had not destroyed Heracleion, it had protected it. Each artifact told a quiet story. A coin dropped in haste. A statue toppled without resistance. A temple floor cracked and surrendered. Together, they formed a narrative not of violence, but of surrender, of a city that did not fight the sea, but accepted it. Heracleion teaches us something unsettling and deeply human. That civilizations, no matter how powerful, do not always end with noise. Sometimes they end in silence. Sometimes they fade while people sleep. As you rest now, listening to this story, remember that beneath calm waters, entire worlds may be waiting, not lost, only sleeping, just like the city of Heracleion, resting patiently beneath the waves, holding its breath through eternity. Let the rhythm of the ancient sea slow your thoughts. Let the weight of time settle gently. And as the city sleeps below, allow yourself to drift as well into quiet, into darkness, into rest.